not necessarily figuratively, I want to dance with you. I want to have this conversation with you as we look at the developmental aspects of the court judgment, the Federal High Court judgment stopping allocations meant for River State coming to River State. Now, the first question on my mind is that allowed by law? And then there's also the question that some of you have asked during the big stories. The matter is before the Supreme Court. Can a Federal High Court, still touch or deliberate on such matters? There are other questions, many other questions. How this will impact, River State. What does this actually mean if we were to interpret, the judgment of the Federal High Court? Many, many, many questions on the minds of many, many, many Rivers people, including me. But on that note, I welcome you to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. 12 minutes gone past 5. I am yours truly, Kaladako Rubat. But remember, we're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We're active on X, Nigeria Info PH is the handle. And very shortly, I'll reel out the numbers with which you can call and interact when I do open the phone lines. Okay, we do not have much time because we do have a commercial coming 5:45. I'm going to introduce my guest now. He's a lawyer, he's a politician. It's a River State stakeholder, and he goes by the name J.C. Williams. Welcome on the show, Barrister Williams. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Kalada. Thank you.
So it's no longer news. You must have seen everybody's talking about it. News platforms, TV stations, social media. Federal High Court has stopped the CBN from, transmitting monies meant for River State to the state just because of what we have been through. You've also been a part of the conversation. The court had told the River State government to present the budget before the Martin Amewule-led assembly because that is the one recognized by the court, by the law. And the matter was appealed. Court of Appeal did say the same with the lower court, and the matter is now before the Supreme. Before we go into many questions, what are your thoughts on the ruling by the Federal High Court?
You see, thank you for the opportunity. It's really unfortunate.
Okay.
That this is happening in our dear River State. Honestly, I was in court when I got the wind of that judgment. And honestly, I felt so bad. Because, what is happening in River State today can be likened to what you and I know, the story in the Bible, where two women had their child. This one had her own, this one had her own. And in the process, one of them slept on the wrong side and then pressed the child, and the child died. And then she woke up and swabbed the baby, the dead one, to the other woman. And of course, you know the story. They appeared before King Solomon. And then the one who knows that her child is actually dead, you know what she suggested to King Solomon?
Tell us about it.
That this one that is alive is her baby. And that King Solomon can slaughter the living one, the one that is alive, share the living child into two, and give her one, and give the other one half. Now, the question is, if that child was your own, would you suggest that a living child be cut into two? What am I saying? Because if they cut that child into two, the part that will get to you is also dead. Not like you are having him alive. So that is, I can liken that to the story of River State today. If it's not me, then the whole system should crumble.
But some people, and including you, had said that it's important that these court cases, are finalized so we can improve on our jurisprudence.
That's correct.
You said that,
That's
and I
correct.
remember.
Yes.
And some have said, Court of Appeal has given a judgment, but the River State government is not, what's the word now? Is not acting in accordance with the judgment of court. So they have gone to the Federal High Court to ask the Federal High Court to enforce that judgment. And I think that seemingly is what has happened at Justice Abdul Malik's court.
Yes. It's unfortunate, like I said before. The issue, this is a constitutional issue.
True.
The issue of whether or not Martins, my friend, and his own friends are still members of the State House of Assembly is a constitutional issue, and that matter is not properly before the court.
When you say it's not properly, what do you mean?
Now, let me tell you. Section 109 sub 1G have said that the moment you defect from the political party that sponsored your election, you are no longer a member of the House of Assembly.
Okay.
That is the position of
we know what.
Yeah. Now, why is it that the people who say they are still members of, and sorry, before then, the speaker, as he then was, Edison, had, in compliance with the law, have declared their seat vacant. Now, what is before the court? It's not whether or not they are still members of the assembly. That's why I said.
But the court said Edison was never. I mean, from Justice Omotosho to other judgments that have come out, they've said that Edison was never.
No. Let me also tell you. Don't forget the judgment of the River State High Court.
Which of them?
I can't remember. Is it
because we have Wally, we have Q. Which of them specifically?
I think I can't remember. Let me not. I'm on air. But there is a judgment of River State High Court that says Edison, as there was the proper speaker.
But the court, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. But the court
Federal High Court.
But the Court of Appeal in his judgment said, I mean, we need to go back to it.
No. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
What you are referring to the Court of Appeal is the judgment of the Federal High Court.
Okay.
You see, that was the judgment that gave Edison the power to declare that seat vacant.
So do we blame the lawyers who are
as a lawyer, I am not happy.
Okay.
Let me tell you the truth.
Okay.
Because I don't know the reason some of my friends or my colleagues do what they do.
Okay.
That someone would deliberately mislead the court.
So who's misleading the court?
No. That's, let me tell you, whoever, it can be anybody.
So no, I want to get the facts now. Is it the people on the side of Martin or the people on the side of the government?
You see, Canada, I'm here today. I don't want to talk about Martin's side or Okojombo's side. I am here honestly today as a Rivers man. What I want is that the right thing should be done. So the constitutional provision should be followed.
So who's misleading?
Don't take me back to what I said before. I said, look, the way this matter is in Rivers State, lawyers from the both camp,
okay,
are filing all manner of things. And let me tell you, with due respect, when a judge sits in chambers and you come and file whatever you want to file, it's not the business of the court to tell you what to file.
Exactly. Okay.
The judge look at what you file, the evidence before him or her, and then take a decision one way or the other. But my worry is that I don't know whether it's because of the money my learned friends you get from this kind of frivolous applications. See, Canada, let me tell you, when I was a little child growing up in the village, when you come to the village and as a lawyer, we run after you. We say, we begin to claim, I will be like this person. I will be like. That was how law was respected. Those days, if you come, even if you are talking nonsense in the village as a lawyer, you are talking sense. That was how much we were respected. But today, because of money, people throw all manner of rubbish in court. No.
So you're saying it's not properly instituted because the lawyers are, I don't know, not doing the right job.
That's what thing. People, you know what you're supposed to challenge. You know what? That your seat has been declared vacant, rightly or wrongly. It is the court that will interpret.
Okay.
And again, this is not a matter that you commence by writ of summons. Because it's a constitutional matter. It's a matter that originating somewhere. It doesn't call for come and give evidence. Witness this, witness that. It's a straightforward thing. Section 109 1G is there, clear. Let the court interpret. By this section, are these people still members of the State House of Assembly?
So yet again, so you're saying the lawyers for the governor should have, or the Victor Okojombo faction should have drawn the attention of all of these courts that have
No, not even the governor of Victor Oko. Let me tell you something. That's why I say wrongly or rightly. If Edison here at the time was recognized by a court,
that's where I'm going to.
No, let me tell you. No, wait.
Okay.
Edison here at the time, whether that recognition was wrong or right, he was recognized by the pronouncement of a court as the speaker. And then he went ahead to act as the speaker.
Rightly or wrongly?
Rightly or wrongly too.
Okay.
And declared this seat vacant. Notified INEC. The question is, what is INEC waiting for? Or is it not incumbent on those people whose seat has been declared vacant to challenge?
But they did go to court, asking the court to stop INEC from declaring their seats or conducting a by-election.
Let me tell you, that's why. You see, this is our federal high court in Abuja. I don't understand. See, Canada, at that point, it was no longer telling INEC not to conduct election. It doesn't lie with them. They don't have such powers. All is expected is for them to go to court to say the declaration of our seat vacant by the speaker was unlawful.
So to court to enforce.
Enforce. If you say it's unfortunately, that enforcement doesn't lie with them. That's why the speaker at the time notified INEC.
But we're saying so now. Those on the side of Martin, while we're having a conversation, they have gone to court, say enforce this court judgment. So could they also have gone to court to say enforce this act of the assembly, whether by writ of summons or originating summons?
That's the point. Now, you have declared the seat of these people vacant. You were sitting. They were sitting somewhere else. You see the whole drama? They were sitting and these people were sitting, and the governor was sending bills to these ones. They are working and all that. Now, if the person you have declared his seat vacant still insists that he's a serving member of the House of Assembly and still sitting somewhere, what stops you? Like you rightly suggested, what stops you from going to court to seek an order stopping them?
But the court said 4 people cannot constitute an assembly. Do you agree?
You see, that's why I tell you that this is a purely constitutional matter. What do I mean? The constitution says if you defect, you are no longer a member. Even if you are 1 million defected, the only one person that did not defect constitutes the House of Assembly.
But
you can let's put it in perspective.
But JC, there's the argument of automatic. But let's even leave all of that. Now let's come to the implication of this judgment. Does it mean that all the things the governor has done since January is null and void? Does that mean that the budget is irrelevant, is an illegality, the appointment of commissioners an illegality, the spending of monies an illegality? And if yes, is that an impeachable offense?
No, you see, let me tell you. What they are after, Martins and his colleague, what they are saying is that or the judgment they got from the federal court is that the appropriation bill should be re-represented to them being
because
the right,
they're authentic. They are
them being the authentic.
Yeah.
Now, these other 4 or 5 assembly members, when you say authentic, are they not also authentic House of Assembly members? That's the point. Because if majority failed to do an act constitutionally, an act they are constitutionally empowered to do.
All right, JC, I would have to pause you. I'm sorry. I do have a commercial coming up, so pause that towards when we do come back. We'll continue.
Nigeria Info.
A quick look at the headline news. Governor Fubara promises to pay salaries despite court ruling stopping allocation. A Rivers State government appeals court ruling halting monthly allocations. Stakeholders react to the court judgment stopping Rivers State allocation. Judiciary panel of inquiry into council office destruction begins hearing. Sitting begins at Rivers State Local Government Election Petition Tribunal. On the foreign scene, Spanish floods killed 72 as a year of rainfalls in a day in Valencia. Details in the 6 p.m. bulletin. To reach the news team, do send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I am Kalada Kurubatbo. Conversations continue.
This is Hard Facts.
This indeed is Hard Facts, and we're looking at the facts as it relates to the implications of the Federal High Court stopping allocations to Rivers State. I hope you're jotting your thoughts down, your opinions down. I assume collect all of them. But I still have my guest in the studio, Barrister Williams. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so before the break, we were talking, and I was more like the implications of this Federal High Court. I mean, we'd also talk about the fact that the state government has appealed that judgment. So the implication, does it mean that everything done by the executive government of Rivers State is null and void because it did not pass through the Martin and Mewle-led assembly?
Well, to a reasonable extent, I would say no, because the government have to run. Government have to run. Back to what you say, the implication of this. I mean, the implication is going to be very terrible. Why? It will affect to a very reasonable extent the economy of the state. Imagine where allocation is not coming. Even if the governor, like I heard now, have said he will pay salaries and all that, will he be able to sustain that if this judgment is not stayed?
If it drags on.
How much is the internal generated revenue? You see, let's be realistic.
898 billion, thereabout.
Revenue. Internally generated revenue. Monthly.
I think I saw something.
No, it can't be. No.
So we are TED. I recently saw the statistics. Lagos is number 1. We are number 3. Abuja is number 2.
You see, okay, Canada, even if we have 1 trillion as internally generated revenue, it still boils down to the fact that the economy of the state will suffer.
Okay.
People will suffer. Whether you are doing, you don't need to be a civil servant to suffer. Is it not civil servant that when they get their salary, when money of course, when money is in the system, even if you are a private person, the money will get to you.
Yeah.
So the economy of the state will suffer. So, like I heard your news now, that is the option open to the state government. That judgment has to be appealed. And not just appeal and ask for stayed.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know law is law, but you see, sometimes too there are so many variables that a judge considers before giving judgment one way or the other. This is like 2 elephants fighting
and the grass suffering,
and then you expect the entire workforce in Rivers State to suffer. No. That's why I said God will do justice.
You've just said law is law, and the law does state that you cannot appropriate funds without first, going through the assembly.
Let's not go back there, because it's not like the governor didn't present his appropriation. His bill.
Yeah, appropriation bill.
But the point is that he did not present it to the people who say they are the legitimate. There are 2 differences. I presented to the people I saw sitting as members of the House of Assembly. And then the court said, no, those people you saw or you recognized as assembly members are not the. There's something missing here, Canada. The court have not said those people you presented to
are not assembly
members.
Okay.
Court have not said so.
Okay.
But probably because these people are in majority. That's why it looks like they are authentic. Court have not also said that these people are not authentic.
Okay, so let's look at this now. Supreme Court is looking at this matter, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's been appealed and taken to the Supreme
Yes.
Court. But then there is no stay of execution at the Supreme Court. So should the River State government be obeying the Court of Appeal's judgment?
You see, judgment is judgment until set aside.
Okay. Okay.
No matter how that judgment is gotten, is judgment.
Okay.
But you know, but the thing here is that this judgment today is not the judgment pending before Court of Appeal or Supreme Court. It's not the same case.
No. I think I'm going. We'll get to it. But the question I'm asking is: should the River State government obey? Because this judgment that we're talking about now is some kind of enforcement once again on what the Court of Appeal has done.
Yes.
So the question is: should the River State government be obeying the Court of Appeal? Because you can't enforce something that should not be obeyed because the matter is before the Supreme Court.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. See, now, the state government at the appeal court level sought for stay, and it wasn't granted. And they are in Supreme Court. Of course, Supreme Court have not refused the stay. It's just that they've not heard the matter.
Okay.
You see the issue here?
Yeah.
Appeal refused to grant stay. They furthered to Supreme Court. Supreme Court have not heard the matter and declined or refused to grant stay. Ordinarily, because Supreme Court have not granted stay, the decision of the Court of Appeal remains the decision that should be obeyed. So failure to obey that appeal court decision is why these people have gone to the Federal Court for enforcement.
Because, in my opinion, I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but I'm going to say this. This is what we're entering November. If it gets to January, it becomes an academic exercise, like the lawyers would say. So could it be that they've gone to the Federal High Court to ensure that it does not become any, academic exercise, and that the right thing be done? Could that be what the case is?
That's why I tell the lawyers have different way of achieving their aim.
Okay.
Now, yes, it could be a reason, so that before the thing will turn academic. But the point is that the Federal High Court today haven't done what they did by this judgment. If you wake up tomorrow and hear that Supreme Court have granted stay, what happens to that enforcement?
That's the question.
Is there nullity?
That's the question I'm asking.
That's what I'm telling you. Is there nullity? Because Federal High Court should not talk when Supreme Court is talking.
So that means the Federal High Court should not have entertained the matter in the first place.
No. They have every right to entertain.
But the matter is before the Supreme Court.
Now, let me tell you something. What is before Supreme Court is the appeal and request for stay of execution of the court of the Federal High Court judgment, which was upheld by Court of Appeal.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the state government or parties to that suit are in Supreme Court now asking for stay of the judgment of the Federal High Court, which was upheld by the Court of Appeal.
So it has nothing to do with this. No.
Now, what these people did, as long as the Supreme Court is here to grant that stay, there is no stay. You get the point now? As long as Supreme Court have not granted that stay of execution of that judgment of Federal High Court, so they played a smart one by going to Federal High Court quickly before Supreme Court will hear this. Say, we want to enforce the judgment. That was why this Federal High Court today granted this.
So you're saying that stopping allocation will be valid pending either a stay of execution from the
Supreme Court,
from the Court of Appeal they've gone to, to stay the Federal High Court's judgment, or
they went to Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal refused. No,
they've gone to appeal court now to appeal this very matter again.
You see, let me tell you something. You see, that's why I tell you that.
Yeah,
lawyers. I'm a lawyer. You see, otherwise this appeal, stay, injunction
is not necessary.
It's leading us to nowhere. Do the right thing. That's why I said that the right thing
is for the Supreme Court.
Is for Supreme Court to say on the strength of Section 1091G. Are these people, because if the Supreme Court makes their pronouncement now, I tell you, everywhere will be quiet. If you are not a member by the Constitution, if you are not a member of the House of Assembly by Section 109, You just quietly go and sit there and wait for 2027. So this whole thing will end at Supreme Court. That's why you see this appealing of judgment, not appealing. They are waiting for Supreme Court. The parties are waiting for Supreme Court to make a pronouncement.
If, and I've asked you this question before, if for, and I'm not preempting the court, please, but if for any reason the pendulum swings in favor of Martin, the question remains, how does this affect everything done by the executive government in the last 10, 11 months?
That will pandemonium. That is the best way to answer it. Because government has been running for over 1 year that this problem started. If Supreme Court, for instance, they say, oh, no, Section 1091G is not important here, these people are still members of assembly. My dear brother, a lot will happen in the states. A lot will happen. And it will not be to the advantage of the Rivers people.
A lot like, can you give us?
I say a lot of things will happen.
Examples.
When I say what will happen will not be to the advantage of the ordinary Rivers man.
All right then. All right. Let's quickly take calls because I do have a commercial in a few minutes time. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. I take the numbers again. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. What are your thoughts? Let's get talking. Let's look at WhatsApp basically. Let's see what messages have dropped therein because I can see a lot of messages. My goodness, I can see it. This one says, okay, I get to the internally generated revenue very shortly. Something. Okay, the system. I just read from. This one says, greetings, Kaladad. On the recent High Court order, okay, as I think it's necessary to put the record correctly, on the 4th of July, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division dismissed the ex-parte order issued on the 10th May 2024 by the River State High Court in Port Harcourt, which barred Martin Ameoli from parading himself as the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. The appeal court also dismissed the decision of the State High Court, which stopped 24 other members of the Assembly from accessing the complex or carrying out any such legislative assignment in the name of River State House of Assembly. For me, I think anyone who truly loves Rivers people and the workers will not engage in illegality in disdainful manner to the operating law of the land, because if every man is allowed to do things in his or her own ways, it will create anarchy in the state. So the law is the only path to achieving peace in a constitutional state. Emi Fiaga with that one. And this one says internally generated revenue is what is about 119 billion. This is one desktop. Okay, federal allocation is what is. Okay, thank you very much for that correction. Federal allocation is 119 billion, he said. All right. The internally generated revenue is 27 billion. Correct. You're correct. You're correct. This one says the law is still law. It is not emotion. I've come to realize that Governor Fubara should just keep pride aside and do the needful. You said your guess is emotional and is jumping from the truth. The appeal court has nullified whatever Edison did and said he was never a speaker. Well, let's go to Godspar, who's calling from Port Harcourt. Godspar, welcome on the show. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, good evening, Kalada.
You're welcome.
My name is Ayiba Godspar.
All right, quickly, we don't have time. Let's hear it.
Yes, it beats me. It beats me to, hear the guest in the studio that was supposed to be on the side of law, defending disobedience to court orders by our governor. How can a lawyer say that 4 persons can constitute a state House of Assembly of the 32 state constituencies? How? We have 32 state constituencies in River State. Unfortunately, one died. And he's saying that 4 persons can legislate or appropriate bills for 31 state constituencies. It beats me hollow. Then let me tell him, the Constitution states that before a state of House of Assembly can be formed, it will be 4 or 3 times of the federal constituencies in that state.
Okay.
Or not less than 32.
All right.
24.
So I've got to go now. I get your point.
How can he say that 4 persons can legislate in the state of Assembly?
All right. I've got to go. God's power. My time is up. But then it's talking about forming a quorum.
Let me inform God's power very well and quickly too.
Yeah.
The law did not say that if people who are elected all defect and their seats are declared vacant in alignment with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that they have defected will not cripple the governance. People who have not defected will stay and do the business of governance.
I've got to go. JC Williams, thank you for your time. This matter is not ended. We'll talk more about it, but for now, let's go for a commercial. To stay tuned.